Los Angeles, California. Northridge to be exact. I'm here at this fire loss. This house was completely totaled out by fire. And the property owner hired me to come and help him out with some estimate guidance and other consulting work. But as you can see here, pretty nice house. He just finished up new renovations and did a lot of work. You know, the pictures that he showed me of what it looked like before the fire was really quite impressive, and put a lot into his home here. And then had this fire and was totaled out, and now we're dealing with a lot of mess here, right? But State Farm insurance claim, and it's been a while since I've been putting out some content to my channel, my YouTube and Facebook and stuff, and I thought this would be a good opportunity to get things fired back up again. It's August 12th, I think, 2020, in the middle of this crazy COVID-19 pandemic. 2020 is a year of just craziness, all right? But I'm out here on the West Coast, and the thing that brought me here was this fire. So it's my second time here, actually, and I think he's already closed up the door. Hey, did you already close it? Did you already close it inside? Yeah, would you mind real quick? He's gonna open it up for me, but it's actually my second time here. So like the owner, he found my YouTube channel on his own, and he had an original estimate written by State Farm. It was like for $140,000, and but it just wasn't. A lot of the items weren't sitting well with him, so he went and started doing his own research, and he found my YouTube channel. And he said, "Man, I watched almost all your videos," and he learned a bunch of stuff, and came back at the adjuster and asked, held him to account on a lot of the individual items that the adjuster was missing from his original report. And just by doing that, the adjuster issued another big check. Like, he revised his estimate and issued him a lot more money just on his own by doing that. And then he contacted me, and I came out here a few months ago, inspected everything, and I helped him write an exactimate estimate of his own that he then presented to that same original State Farm field adjuster. And that same, I always say, don't worry about the field adjuster, move on to the next level with the inside desk adjuster, but always push the field adjuster as far as you can. And that's what he did with that estimate, and he was able to get a bunch more money issued. And also with that most recent estimate, he has a lot of open items, like bid items and stuff that the adjuster has already acknowledged that they're going to be a problem, but they're zero for now. Like, the money will be determined at a later point, like the cost. So he's got a lot of those items in there too. But where he stands now, after issuing money two more times, is he went from 140 to now he's at about 233 plus, 233 and some change. And he's, with the open items and the bid items, it's probably above 300,000. And I think, although my client doesn't, he's still, worried about how things are going to turn out, but I think he's going to end up at, 350 plus. And he's like, man, I'd take 350 right now. But I'm like, don't take 350 right now, because it could go higher than that. But the fire department came in. If you're not familiar with fire jobs, a lot of times it's not just the fire that causes the brunt of the damage. It's the fire, but then the fire department comes and they start knocking holes in ceilings and in the roof to get it ventilated, and busting out windows and things, and using water to put out the fire, right, and other chemical agents, which then causes water damage. The flooring system here, there was laminate flooring, but there's like a natural, hardwood plank flooring underneath that. And then here in California, we have not a basement, but a crawl space system that's underneath that, like this down in there. And so, you have fire department coming in here, and soaking the place with water and everything being gutted and all the soot running down from the ceilings and down on the walls and all the framing and house wrap and insulation. Where is all that stuff going? It's going down through the floor and into the crawl space. So down in the crawl space, you have a lot of damage and mitigation that hasn't been done and needs to be done and needs to be dealt with. It's not currently on the adjuster report. One of the things that was on the estimate that I helped him write was the sealing all of the framing and all of the attic framing, like the studs, the ceiling joists, the floor joists down below, all the exterior stud walls, all of the attic framing, the underside of the decking, probably need new decking now, needs to be sealed. It's an item in Xactimate with an odor control shellac. It's like a primer that helps to seal up odor. And to me, if this was my house, I would not accept anything less than my home being returned to me in its pre-loss condition. So if it was returned to me at the end of the repair process and it had a bunch of odor in it, I could have still the smoke odor, then that's not been accomplished the way it was supposed to have been accomplished, right? And so for me, that would not be acceptable. So it's kind of a mitigation item. It hasn't been done yet. State Farm sent out their own mitigation company, their vendor directed them to come out and gut this place out. But there's a lot of issues, and a lot of it is like where they have cabinets high grade, that should be premium or should be deluxe, the flooring type is wrong. The adjuster had 1/2-inch drywall in all the ceilings. The building code requires that it's 5/8, right? This house wrap is technically, it's going to have to be dealt with. It's going to have to be replaced. And right now, the adjuster doesn't know how to deal with that. But this house wrap is damaged. It's saturated with smoke. How do you get that out? So it's going to have to be replaced, right? There are some code issues that have to be upgraded. The furnace system has to be changed out. There's a lot of issues. The windows, like the types of windows that the adjuster had was the total wrong type of windows. So one of the things that my client is taking away from this right now is I really just need to meet with this adjuster and make him go through each item by item and explain to me each item. And he is right on with that conclusion. That's exactly what needs to be done. On any claim, that's when you're really winning. If you're following any methods like the kind that I practice and that I strongly emphasize and go about advising you guys to do, which is hardcore heavy documentation for every single item, and then presenting the proof to back up each item you have in that estimate, right? But thoroughness, taking more time than anyone else. To me, if you've done that, if you followed that process when you're going about putting these estimates together and you're preparing your strategy on these things, if you've done that, then if the adjuster, any adjuster, goes through that process of answering to each and every line item and then viewing the documentation to back it up, that's how you win. That's exactly how you win. But a couple other things to note. This client here is in a really great position. He doesn't realize how great of a position he's in the sense that this is State Farm, okay? He has a mortgage on this house, but State Farm, as you well know, most insurance companies, when they issue you the money for these things, they hold back recoverable depreciation until the repairs have been made. Now, you can get State Farm to issue the full RCV up front, but usually you have to already demonstrate that you've hired a contractor to take care of the repairs. My client's not done any of that. He's going to act as his own contractor, right? So you would expect them to resist and to only give him a certain percentage up front to hold back the recoverable depreciation until the repairs have been made. That's not the case. So far, they're paying him full RCV up front. Now, he also has a mortgage on the property. And, as many of you know who's watching this, if you have a mortgage on the property, that's going to then cause the checks to be made payable to the owner and the mortgage company. And then you're going to have to go through a process with the mortgage company, depending on who that mortgage company is, depending on your specific loan with that mortgage company, of them only issuing you phases of the money, like draws and portions of the money at a time. One common way of doing that is to take the total amount that's been issued up front and only issue to the owner and or contractor a total of 1/3 of that amount at a time. And then they a lot of times will hire inspectors to come out, and they'll have to conduct inspections to make sure that a certain amount of progress has been made for them to issue another draw. Now this guy, my client, awesome dude by the way, has no depreciation being withheld, and he has a bank, he has a mortgage, but they're not putting the mortgage company on the checks. Well, many of you know watching this, that's just unheard of. And so each time they're making the payments out to him, they're giving away their leverage right to him, because those who hold all the cash makes all the rules, right? And so to me, he's winning big time, because he's getting them to pay progressively, for rightfully so, money they owe, right? But he's getting them to pay that money progressively 100% at a time without having any mortgage company or anything like that standing in his way. It's State Farm, so he has the added advantage of, when he's done with this, dealing with this field adjuster that he's messing around with, and he feels like he's gotten all the items approved that he possibly can out of the original field adjuster, then he can simply just go into the inside and deal with the inside desk adjuster process. Which, with State Farm, you can pick up the phone and talk to one adjuster and them not agree with your assessment, and you go try to do what they advise you to do, and then you call back and talk to a different adjuster the next day, telling them how you went and tried to fulfill the prescription that the previous guy had prescribed, and it's not possible, and you're basically running your request again to somebody else each time you're calling. It's that big of a sort of bureaucracy, which can be an advantage versus being a disadvantage more times than not. But I guess it's just a mindset. It's your outlook on how you choose to deal with it, right? So anyway, this is Northridge, a suburb of Los Angeles, California. And I love California, man. The weather out here is just something completely different. It is unusually hot. It's like near 100 degrees, I think, but not in the mornings and at nighttime though. So, but I like the nature, and the sun, and hills. Living in Texas, man, in Dallas, everything is so flat all the time. And I was born and raised in Ohio. It's more hilly, but I like out west, man. It's more wide open space, and so I drove out here because I love driving out west, and this is my job to be here. So I do have a job to be at, which I'm grateful for. But I also have some open time, and I've been doing a lot of traveling and just a lot of working on me, a lot of regrouping. And after I leave here, I'm gonna keep on going up through Northern California and up through Oregon and Washington and Montana and Wyoming, back through Colorado again, Oklahoma, on back to home in Texas with no particular hurry. I've always had to rush when I've been out here before and been out west. I usually have to rush to get to the next place, and I kind of planned it out this way to not have to do that this time. So I'm looking forward to that. So, but that being said, any of you who are watching this in any of those areas I just mentioned, I'm just kind of the solo practitioner, so it'd be cool to link up with some of you other practitioners out there. But other than that, I just want to say, keep your heads up. I have no idea what you're going through, whoever's watching this, right, through all of this stuff. I know there's a lot going on. There's a lot of pain going on in a lot of different ways. It's a very turbulent time in our country's history. And so, but a lot of it is perspective too, and a lot of it is what you make it. And I can only go so far, I realize that. But I'm just saying, coming from someone who's been through a whole lot in life, and a whole lot of blood, sweat, and tears, I just hopefully can offer this up as some kind of encouragement. We're going to get through this, man. You know, treat others with love, respect, and see how you can help someone else at this time. And who knows what that might do for you. But anyway, I'd love to hear from y'all. I know it's been a while, and I apologize. I've been working on my training course, updating the content. I've got some other content planned. I made some content from this site here to get into some more hardcore details of this claim. I interviewed the client a little bit too, so watch for that video coming a little later. But I'm doing a lot of drone videos and a lot of these areas where I'm at, so I have a lot of good stuff to show you. Also, another cool thing, I invested in some dash cams, and so I got a front, actually 2 different front, where I can see out the front and inside the vehicle, and also one in the rear, and it monitors like date and time, miles per hour, lots of things. But it's really, I've been getting some beautiful footage of the mountains and sunsets and stuff like that too. So, but I think I'll be able to do some cool footage from my dash cam stuff. So, I also bought a new camera recently. So I'm really working on upping my game for this channel, and for my fellow practitioners out there trying to better their careers. So much love. God bless you all. I love you. Keep grinding. Until then, talk at you later.